yet another inciting episode of your favorite program, My Opinion on Clevenard TV In Diaspora. As usual, I remain your host, Franca Iremudia. Yeah, we are talking or discussing about the way forward for the All Progressive Grand Alliance, APGA in Nigeria today, and I have as my guest the current national chairman of that party, Chief Edozie Njoku in the house with us. If you've been following the trends of politics in Nigeria, you will realize that APGA used to be one of the top viable political parties in the country. But of recent, we've not been seeing more of that and the discourse of concerns from members of the society. But right here, we have a chief with us in the house, the current chairman. He's right here to give answers to every questions that we might have been asking for answers to. Chief Edozie, you're welcome to My Opinion on Clevenard TV In Diaspora.
Thank you very much, Franca. Thank you.
So good to have you here, sir.
Thank you. It's my pleasure too.
It's okay. All right, like I said earlier, I did mention that Nigerians have actually waited a bit for this for one or two informations regarding your party. As we all know, APGA has been one of the third political party that was very, very viable in the country. But of recent, we've not been hearing anything about the party itself, and it has actually come from concern from some quarters and all that. So I don't know, you've been appointed as a national chairman recently. How has it been facing such a challenge and having to deal with that challenge of bringing back the lust or the light back to the party?
Okay, thank you again. As I'm sure you must know, I was the first vice national chairman of the party when, starting with Chief Chokwa then, we had a vision for the party. We all know what happened, and the baton changed hands. But I stayed in the party because I believed in the vision. I was born in England. My family are still living in England, but some of us felt that we really needed to participate in this thing we call politics. It's not an easy thing, especially when you're used to a different system of life. What's happened in APGA is a very, very sad thing. Starting from that, people who took power in APGA never really had the vision of APGA. APGA was used an instrument of collecting money, instrument to get to power. Yes, it is a vehicle to get to power, but you must understand that, and also it's also a national party, but you must understand that the people from the Southeast particularly have a very strong affection for the party. It is a vehicle that they use to actually speak rather than going towards militancy or towards violence. We used it to be able to express ourselves. Suddenly that party was taken away. And I've tried to keep away from criticizing people or saying, so that's basically what we are now really trying to retrace that vision that we had. I mean, it's very close to an election. So everything, we're patching up everything to see whether we can go to 2023. But what I say to my colleagues in the National Working Committee and in the state executives are that right after the general elections of 2023, we must start from the next date to try to start putting in our structures, to start building the party back to what it used to be.
It's all right, sir. But recently, even after the Supreme Court has made its judgment in your favor, we are still getting reports that even members of the party have not fully accepted you as its national chairman. So what are you doing about that, sir?
Well, I laughed when you said I just became I've been the national chairman of the party since 2019. We've been on battles. I've been on 32 court cases. I've been offered all kinds of money to step down. Obiano, when he was the governor, did everything humanly possible to make sure that he kept Victoria there. I don't know what reason for. At the end of the day, he's now suffering from that monster he created. The good thing is that the Supreme Court has pronounced me as the national chairman. They will not just wake up and say, okay, go. There's so much interest, as you must know, involved in politics. I'm trying to remove my mind from that a bit and go towards let's build the party. Let's build bridges all over the places to be able to get back to that vision in which we had previously. But the Supreme Court is the final court. So whether they like it or not, eventually they will have to agree with what the law has said.
That's true. All right, thank you so much, sir. And then we've also heard of some of your developmental plans and the vision for the party. Like recently, on the 3rd of June, earlier this month, you guys have a convention, the APGA convention. Yeah, I want to really congratulate you on that. Now, as a party that is looking at being rebranded and having new initiatives and a drive to push your members, what are we expecting from APGA in this dispensation, 2023?
Yes, thank you. You used the word rebranded. We are rebranding. Yeah, we are going through a process of rebranding the party. It's not a one-day's job. It's a process of rebranding, and because we're in the process of elections, it's a lot more difficult because you can't be rebranding and going for elections. But the most important thing is that we've brought out a presidential candidate who was the first national chairman of the party, who has had the vision of the party all the while. And I think he will do his best to be able to see how we could win the elections. And for me, as the national chairman of the party, things should not be just elections. It should be, how do we impact on the people? How does the party really impact on the people generally? And that's what myself and my executives, I only have about 9 months to go before I go for another election, because my tenure should end in May of next year. So between now and then, we organize ourselves, go back to the convention. If I'm re-elected, then I'll have a program for the next 4 years.
That's a good one, sir. That's a very good one. Now, you made mention of the first, I don't know, when you said, I don't know, were you referring to Mr. Chukwas Okore, the founder of APGA?
Yeah, he is a presidential candidate here, Chukwas Okore.
Oh, well, that's a good one, sir. Now, with him in the party, with him back to the party after 10 good years, what should the people expect of him? If he's going to, if you are featuring him as a presidential candidate, what are we expecting from him?
He is, out of all the presidential candidates, Atiku, P2B, the rest of them, he's the #1 champion for restructuring. You understand? He's been shouting restructuring. He's been playing on restructuring. So we believe that one of the first things on his agenda is that Nigeria needs to be restructured. When we look at what happened in the killings in our the other day, we can really see that restructuring should be at the top of the ladder, what he intends to do. He has a lot of other programs. I'm sure he's going to be in London the week after next. I'm sure he will also want to talk on your program to be able to put forward to people in the diaspora what his plans are.
Yeah, thank you so much. And that is very, very important. You just mentioned most of the things he has done or has been doing behind the camera. But to be frank with you, the first time I've heard of him was about 3 days back.
Okay.
Herself. So I think you guys need a much more platform that will really make publicity, and then let's get to hear of his vision and mission for the nation, Nigeria.
I agree with you.
Is that right? All right, thank you so much. We are still moving on with the way forward for APGA. Now, you are getting ready for APGA 2023. How ready is APGA itself? Because for you to be able to motivate somebody, you yourself must be motivated. If you don't have that fire in you, you can't give it out.
I agree with you.
What are you doing, in-house thing that you guys doing to make sure that 2023, you come back stronger and bigger?
If you notice, I was about 15 minutes late to come onto your program, and it's because I had to rush off to INEC. People always say, there's a proverb in my place that says you gain the ground before you look for the mat. INEC has not yet still given me recognition. We are pushing on that. They have no reason not to. Oye has no court judgment anywhere. So we're pressing on INEC, and because of that, it has really taken a lot of my focus. So even when I'm talking, I'm not going to be talking as forcefully, as directly as I want, because I still haven't gotten that recognition that I need from INEC.
Definitely.
You understand? Right? So,
okay.
So
go ahead.
I'm looking forward to when I'm in London next week to come back onto your program. I know I'll be given the recognition by the grace.
Right. Now you're talking about mobilizing the people. Okay. Now you and I can see you here because I have access to a phone. Now, but we have this population of people that will not have access to this Skype, Zoom, or whatever social media and online we talked about. okay, which is the grassroots people. People are the grassroots. Are you having plans on reaching these grassroots people? Because if you look at it, these people actually constitute the voting class in the country. So are you making plans to reach out to them to make sure that 2023, they all come out and then pick a candidate of their choice, somebody that will be beneficial to the nation?
Definitely, you can see from the sale of our forms how high other areas or ours were low. APGA is meant to be a mass movement. It's meant to be a party for the masses. It's meant to be a party where anyone who feels marginalized or feel cheated in Nigeria should use as their own party. It's not an Igbo party. It's a grand alliance of all progressive people. And and I know Chekwa Sokorie, within the next month or so, is targeting that the masses. Those are the people who are suffering. Both you and me are a bit elitist. I mean, we can afford the basic things. 99% of Nigeria can't afford the basic things of life. And those are the people we need to drag along to see how we bring them out of that poverty trap, which seems to be facing Nigeria. And it's very, very important. You understand? And when things are done in Nigeria, we're very... I shouldn't condemn us so much, but I've stayed here. I was born in England. I went to university in England. My family are still there. And I came back to Nigeria. When you come back to Nigeria, you see that it's a terrible thing happening here. We, the leaders, have no conscience whatsoever to those people who are so-called called down there. And they themselves hardly know better. You know, if you give them money, they vote for you. So there's got to be proper education so their minds will understand that their freedom is their vote. Many of them don't still quite understand that. They live by the day. And it's not quite their fault. It's because they are so incapacitated. I don't know if that's the right word, but they're so knocked out that they don't know really what they are doing. It's sad when you stay here. Very frustrating. Very, very frustrating.
Yeah, it is. Now, after, when you are talking about reaching out to these people, it's very good that I'm hearing you talking about these people at the grassroots. Definitely, they need help, even without them knowing that they need this necessary help. Now, your party, what is your plan for them? I really need you to talk extensively on that. What should the grassroots expect from APGA?
The grassroots should expect, first and foremost, I believe, and the candidate believes, that Nigeria must be restructured. And they're the basic things you need in Nigeria, like light, you need road, you need simple infrastructure. I mean, we are going so high in the air, the basic things. We need good policing, we need community policing, there are so many things we really do need. But the most important thing is that Nigeria needs to come to the table to restructure itself. Every other thing is just pies. We talk about refineries. They won't work until we're restructured. Nigeria needs to be looked at. That basic fabric of Nigeria needs to be looked at because it's gone on and on and on and on. Buhari came, we had so much hope, and we all now blame Buhari. Jonathan, so there's got to be something fundamentally wrong. And one of the things we need to do is to go back to the drawing board and look at the fabric that is holding Nigeria together. Is it firm enough, or what? Is it part of our problems? We look at our policing because there's insecurity everywhere. Why should a country like Nigeria have so much insecurity? We've got to look at those things. So we must organize the foundations first before we start talking about the lofty things we're going to do. Because maybe after doing them, it will be washed away again. So we need to look at the foundations of Nigeria first, which is for all Nigerians to come together with their representatives, for us to restructure it. There's no harm with that. There shouldn't be any harm with that.
Now, if you are selling your vision to the grassroots, you will agree with me that not every one of them will understand what you mean by restructuring. I don't know, can you that language down a bit? Let the layman out there understand what you mean by the word restructuring.
Just let me use police for an example. We have a system of police where the police comes from the federal government. If we're talking about restructuring, we might say, okay, every regions, there are 6 regions in quote in Nigeria. Forget about the 36 states, but there are 6 regions. We can say we now restructure it, that resources go to the regions or resources go to the states, or they should be different, that we should come back and replan that fabric called Nigeria. You understand that? Nigeria should be looked at first and have, if both of us are going to register a company now, we're going to plan, how is that company going to function? What? If we had a company before that is not making money, we're going to look at which areas of that company are stopping us from making money. We remove it and add some. So we really need to look at Nigeria as a business and understand what's working and what's not working. Those not working, we throw them out. Those we don't have, and we put them in. It's simple. That word restructuring always seems like a very, but we need to restructure the fabrics of what makes Nigeria be where it is today. It's fundamental. Nigeria, with the wealth we have, with the people we have, the intellectual abilities we have around the whole world, shouldn't be where we are. So we've got to go back and look at what is the problem with Nigeria. And that's what I mean by this. We've got to, this battle I've had for 4 years in APGA has shown me that we have a fundamental problem and we need to address it. We can't keep leaving things in the air. Nigerians will sweep things under the carpet so much. We must stop doing that. You understand? We must look at things and face it squarely and deal with them immediately they're happening. And they're happening today. I mean, how can you go into a church and just kill people like that? Where else would it happen in the world? We have a problem. We need to address it.
It's all right, sir. Please, I need you to leave a bit of advice for the grassroots, because like you said earlier, you made mention of the fact that they just during election period like this, we end up collecting bids from the candidates, and then we sell our votes and our consciences and all that. 2023, we have an opportunity to make the necessary change we want to in this nation. What would be your advice for the grassroots?
My advice to the grassroots is that, and sometimes we have, I mean, when I sit down here in the Hilton and be giving advice to someone and saying, do this, it's also a bit patronizing. But what I'll tell them to do is that they need to take more responsibility. I know that the only way you can get out of the mess we find ourselves is that they really need to take a little bit more responsibility. Make sure that they're out on the voting day, and make sure you vote, make sure you come out, make sure you stay, make sure you participate in that voting process. It's easier said than done, but I'm happy we're a prayerful country. We need to pray, so we need to really keep praying, and it's only God that can really give us the grace to overcome what's in Nigeria today. I'm not being gloomy, but we really need to all come together, and you guys in the diaspora, you really need to participate more. You understand? You really need to come out and put hands, because Nigeria has really gone to the dogs, honestly. I'm sorry to use the word.
We're actually doing our best, and that's why Clevenard TV in the diaspora is like to bring in people like you to tell us what needs to be done to regain the lost glory of the country. So we cannot all begin to turn blind eyes to what we are saying. And I'm glad that APGA is taking in that direction as well. Now, you made mention of Mr. Chikwas Okorie. Chikwas Okorie. Yeah, as your presidential aspirant for 2023.
Presidential candidate.
Oh, yeah, presidential candidate. Okay, can you tell us a bit about him?
Yeah, Chief Chikwas Okorie was a founder of APGA. He had tried that process twice before, and he got many of us together. I was in England, and many of us, some people in America, brought many of us back to participate in the formation of APGA. There was we always complained that the southeast had 5 states, some have 6. We kept shouting marginal, and he brought to our idea that what we need to do is to create a political party for the whole of Nigeria, but we use that party to be able to express ourselves. Nnamdi Kalu today, who was our UK chairman of APGA UK, everyone, but as soon as all these things happened, and they shot, I got suspended, Chekwas was expelled, Gwabala was expelled, people, and I'm not blaming it on the people from Anambra State, but I believe that they should calm down a bit. Nigeria is for us all, and if we're talking about no one is better than anyone in Nigeria, any job I can do, someone else can do it. After I won in the Federal High Court, I came out and said, let's have peace. Let me step down and let you come out and let the party get someone. Let's move the party forward. But they will not agree to that because there's too much interest. And we should cut down on the interest. The main interest should be the masses. Now, coming back to Chekwas Okorie, he was the founder of the party. He had a vision of how, and I really don't want to go that direction because APGA is not an Igbo party, but it's a party that the Igbos have a very, very big interest in. They love the party because they believe that the party will speak for them. And he tried to organize us to be able to not go towards the violent side, but to be able to express ourselves and so many other things. Really, that we have a lot to offer to Nigeria. We have a lot to offer to anyone who feels marginalized, anyone who feels cheated in Nigeria, as a grand alliance of progressives.
It's okay. Sir, please, you just give me a minute for my last question. When you come back next week, others can wait for that next week. I wouldn't want to disrupt your business with INEC at this present. Now, what is the way forward for APGA?
The way forward for APGA is the same way forward for Nigeria. We need to, as I keep using that phrase, come take and move forward. But I'm prepared to give as much concessions because people are involved as possible so that the party can move through this 1 week of transition very, 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 very smoothly.
It's okay. Thank you so very much, sir. And we are very glad to have you on this platform. Like you rightly said, we're having a series of disruptions and all that, which is not actually good for this very program. But we would definitely like to have you on board next week for a complete interview. Okay, and then Clevenard, we are also very much on site and ready to work with you guys in terms of publicity, mobilization, to make sure the entire world gets to know of APGA itself. Because if you see, most people in Nigeria actually think of APGA as an Igbo party. I would have, but because of the time we have. When next year, we are going to discuss extensively on that, sir. So thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you very much indeed. I'm sorry for the disruptions. I'm sorry indeed. Thank you very much. Thank you. God bless you. Thank you.
All right. We've had the current chairman of APGA, Chief Edozie Njoku, in the house. Njoku in the house for the past few minutes, and he's been able to say one or two things about his party, APGA coming back into the political terrain of the country as ahead of 2023 general election. We are going to continue with this interview next week. If you heard him right, we are going to continue with this interview next week, and then subsequently we are going to be bringing on board the presidential candidates of the party itself. That's what we have for you today, and then do hope you continue watching Clevenard TV in the diaspora. Till next week when we come your way again, it is bye from here. I remain your host, Franca Idimundia. Bye.